The Mexican workers who used to be here are gone. Ever since her husband passed away 2 years ago, she had counted on those workers. She says they helped her save her farm.
They practically become your family when they start working with you. You can ask them to do anything in the world, and they'll come to you. A lot of times you don't have to ask them. They see you doing something, they'll come and help you.
And they did, until that day in late September when Alabama's new immigration law, the toughest in the nation, went into effect. The law covers a lot of ground. Among other things, it prohibits employers from hiring undocumented workers, has police demand proof of legal residency when they pull someone over, and orders schools to gather citizenship information from new students. That last part was temporarily blocked by a court. It all proved too much for Jenkins' Mexican workers.
They just said, well, we're going to have to leave. And I said, what do you got to leave for? Well, we don't want no problems. The women were literally crying because they didn't know what was going to happen to their family.
Since Alabama's strict new immigration law took effect, some farm workers have pitched in for one last harvest. Others are already gone, leaving behind rotting crops and desperate farmers. Farmers who are giving an earful to the legislators who voted for the law.
No farm workers, which is costing the farmer. Dead crops, spoiling crops is costing the farmer.
We need anyone that will listen that we are starving
Of their workers.
How many of you voted Republican in the last presidential election?
I did.
I would consider myself a Republican.
And Republican Governor Robert Bentley, who signed the immigration law,
Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I voted for him.
How do you feel about that vote now, Jerry?
Bad.
We can't find anybody else, so that would be it.
What do you mean that would be it?
No more watermelons. Not on my farm, or Lee's farm.
But here's the counter-argument. If you paid more, if your hourly wage was higher, you could get Americans to do this work. Jerry?
I doubt it. Regardless of what you offered them, within reason and what you know, they wouldn't put in the long hours. If they will find me a pool of labor, I will hire them. I'll do that.
You just don't think that exists?
That don't exist.
that's exactly what Ellen Jenkins discovered when she brought Americans to work at her farm after the Mexicans left. They just couldn't take the long hours of hard physical labor. Most stayed a day or two. Only one lasted a few weeks before he quit.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's no question.
Historian Wayne Flint of Auburn University is the author of 9 books about Alabama's history.
Anti-immigration is probably as popular a political issue as you can find in Alabama. I would remind you, however, that being against the federal government's immigration policies in 1963 was equally popular.
Are you equating those two things?
I am equating those two. This is just mean-spirited. This is finding the most vulnerable people within a society. People can't vote. Most of them are women and children. They have no political power. And so, in a sense, it's like the blacks in
I don't know where to go. What's going to follow this?
What are you going to do? Do you know? ¿Qué van a hacer?
No sabemos. Solo estamos.
We don't know. We just know we're going to go, but we have no idea where.
Un día voy a regresar.
One day, I'll be back with my papers. I promise it. But for the Sanchez family and others who came to this country illegally, that may be an unrealistic dream. And many won't even try to return.
Some of them said that if Alabama didn't want them, then they're taking their whole family. They made it perfectly clear. We won't be back. And I believe them.